Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, Miss Illy? How you feeling today?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, man. So just to cut to the chase, I read something on my Drop and Downs page. It's from another group that I follow, and I thought it was a fascinating topic. I thought it was interesting as hell, and I wanted to hear your perspective. And I'm definitely going to take this to other people as well, but I know you always carry a unique perspective. Um, So the question, the gist of the question was that a girl is in a new relationship and she has her kid's father. The kid's father is actively in her children's life,
Okay.
and he tends to show up on his own schedule, unannounced. Just kind of like I'm passing by, I'm dropping in, I'm going to drop off, or I'm coming by to cut hair, and just kind of just is constantly by the house, coming around. Um, The new boyfriend is a little bit insecure, I guess, about the situation, where he's
Mm-hmm.
very much so like, hey, man, enough is enough. I don't know what's going on here. What the hell? Right. And initially, when I heard the question, my initial reaction was, yeah, this guy's he's a little insecure, whatever, whatever. But after thinking about it and really even going into my history, when I've dated women with children, I had to take a step back and say, no, there's a little something to his feelings. There's a little validity there in, and I've also been the baby father.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that term. I've also been the child's father,
It's child's
so I know
father.
both.
Hey, baby
So I know,
dad.
yeah. So I know both sides. I've literally been both. I've been the kid's father that was a little intrusive, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll go into where I was at with that. But I wanted to know what your thoughts are in that situation. Especially, I know you have children. I don't know what the situation is with their father or anything, or if you guys got a good relationship, bad. So that's up to you and what you what information you want to give out. But what are your thoughts on a situation like that?
Well, it could be a touchy subject because I think that in an ideal world, both parents would have equal access to the children, even if they aren't together. But I think that once you start introducing a partner, you have to take into consideration, I guess, their space in your home. I think if you're not living together, the partner really shouldn't have a say. But if they are living with you or they're spending a large amount of time at your home to where now this is their home, I think boundaries can be set in that, like, hey, call first before you come. Or, I don't know, whatever works for each couple. Boundaries are important, but I don't think it should be some like, I got to meet you at the McDonald's and pick up the kids. It's a touchy one. Like I have a friend who she got to a point where she was remarried. Her daughter's father would come to the house with his new girlfriend, spend the night. Like they were all cool, and I think that's an ideal situation, but it can get touchy. I mean, and it's like, are there still feelings there? It's so complicated that I don't think it's not a one size fits all kind of a thing. I think it needs to be definitely on a case by case basis. If
Okay.
there's feelings, because again, you don't know if there's feelings involved. Did they end on a bad note? Are they cool? Like just because he's coming to get his kids doesn't mean they even like each other. So I don't necessarily want that bad energy around the house all the time. Like there has to be an agreement, I think, on both parties. What do you think?
Here's my thoughts. Okay, and you're absolutely right. There are situations where everything's amicable, and people, when they deal with the situations, they enjoy, the co-parenting. I find that usually happens after a couple of years of separation. There's some distance between the actual relationship, right?
All right.
Now, I'm going to give you my point of view that I'm starting to realize is a little more unique than I thought, only because, even when I answered the question, some people were on board, some people weren't. Um, I say beware of the pissing contest. What does that mean? And again, I've been on both sides of this. The pissing contest is he is coming into your space, right? Now, this is your space. He doesn't live there. The baby father doesn't live there. This is your space. His continual entering of your space is literally him marking his territory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's literally him coming in and saying, I can come as I please.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have another boyfriend and he continues to do it, it's literally a pissing contest telling him, oh, no, what do you think? You got something here? No, this is mine. It'll always be mine, in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I associate it. Women do it too. Women do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Women do it more like where a guy will show up randomly and he's looking like Super Dad. He looks like Super Dad. And yo, don't get me wrong. I'm all for a man being in his kid's life as much as possible. All right, as much as possible. But there's a line between as much as possible and what are you really doing? You're really coming around to let him know I can come here whenever I want. And as a woman, I'm not a woman, but I would like to understand that you set those boundaries to tell him, yo, this is my personal space. Respect my space. You can't just show up. So while it's not official, while it's not like an official full-fledged relationship, yeah, I could understand where a woman might be like, well, slow your roll. You know, that's my kid's father. He's coming around. I get that. Okay. But once it's official, and these are some of the steps I took. All right. I've had a lot of things happen as far as kids' fathers. I had this one happen. One of them was the kid's father wanted to meet me. Yo, he wanted to sit down and have a conversation. And on the peripheral, you look at that and you're like, yeah, that's respectful. That's dope. Fuck you. Get the fuck. That's bullshit. That's all control. It's control. Don't fall for the bullshit. That's control. That's his way of still trying to control you. Every time. It's his way of trying to control you. He's saying, in other words, if I don't approve, you can't move.
No.
You feel me? That's what he's telling the man.
You have a conversation doesn't mean that you have to approve. Like if your daughter, I don't know what her situation is now, but wouldn't you want to at least know the man on some level?
Yes, right. But the decision is yours. He's basically saying, I don't trust your judgment. If I was a woman and he came with that bullshit, I would be, yo, what? Fuck you. You need to trust my judgment.
But I also could see how it could be like, listen, I respect your decision. This is the person that you want to be with. I'd like to sit with them and just talk, just so that we're clear on, you know, what I deem to be acceptable as the father, and then like just, you know, even when it comes to
later,
you know, discipline.
Later. Yes, I agree with you. Later, right? Later, as in after you've established that this is your relationship. Okay, not in the process of developing your relationship. In the process of developing the relationship, it has to be, no. This is my world. You have no say in my world. You stay there, stay in your place. Because when you're with your girlfriend, I can't go over there and be like, hey, man, you know, because if I do, you're wrong too. You know what I'm saying? You establish that, and you have to establish your ground, right? And be who you are. Later on, once you say, hey, look, this is official. This is my man. This is the guy that's going to be around you. You come to him. You come to him and you say, hey, look, this is the guy that's going to be around our children. I want you to meet him. It has to be on your grounds. When it's on his grounds, he has control. And his control is on purpose because he's trying to still reach out and keep that on you. People will lie to you and tell you, no, it's because that's bullshit. It's a pissing contest. I promise you. Listen, I've been there. When I left, me and my ex-wife, when we split, he was in a whole new relationship, and now it's her husband. I used to come. I was adamant about. I gotta sit with him. I gotta meet him. I gotta see this guy. I gotta look in his eye, right? And she pulled me to the side and was like, "Nah, I don't think you're gonna. No, you gotta understand. He's a good person. I've already vetted him. He's a good person. If you meet him, is because I'm doing you the privilege of letting you into that part of my life, right? And at first I was like, what? Because my ego was talking. Nah, what do you mean? You know what? Oh my God. And then I went into the whole, she's trying to replace me. That's not what's happening. Now, this is when it's official. You know, on the, like I said, when it's early, by all means, you dictate when, you know what I mean? Later on, you know, you sit and you're like, hey, you know, now we're going to co-parent. The feelings are kind of like, kind of a little distance between the initial phase. Now you could be like, yo, let's meet, let's talk, let's kind of establish whatever. Here's the other thing. When there's me, I'm a little bit of a stickler, okay? And I've always been this way. I was a bit of a stickler. If I was dealing with a woman with children, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a red flag if the dad wasn't on child support.
Why?
I thought it was a red flag. Because again, and you know, this is not a fact. This is just, you know, my experience. I found that women that didn't put their man on child support enjoyed the contact. Where's my money? Oh my God, you haven't, you know what? You know what? They enjoyed the back and forth. They enjoyed calling. It's like a form of still keeping that connection. As opposed to, you're on child support, we don't got to talk about shit. You pick up the kids, drop off the kids. There's nothing to talk about other than the children. The money's there in the account, so I don't have to call you about it. It's much cleaner. You know, child support has been given a very negative stigma, only because a lot of women have had babies with guys that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And the guys that ain't shit can't provide for their kids. You know what I'm saying? Or have come across situations where it doesn't allow them to provide for their kids. So they get all stumbled on the child, and my license got suspended and I can't pay and da-da-da, right? Listen, I can't talk on the quality of men you date. You know what I'm saying? I've never had that issue. I've always looked at child support. It turned into a plus on my life because it said, this is the amount you give. This is when you give it. And anything I do outside of that was out of my heart because I love my daughter. And I thought it was a very clean way. So there was never that phone call. Early on, I used to get the phone call. Early on, I used to get the text message to the whole family. Oh, you're a day late. Oh my God. And I was like, no. Sure. I don't want to do it. This ain't happening.
My thing, I think, with child support, and I agree with you, like it's a gift and a curse, depending on how you look at it. But I think at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, it is a representation and a breakdown of communication between the two parents. Because if you are amicable and you're able to communicate and come to an agreement, it shouldn't require a third party to say, hey, Mike, I need you to pay $200 every month. Otherwise, you're going to go to jail. And if you don't, XYZ is going to like, it's just.
That's one way to look at it. You see, that's one way to look at it. My thing is more like, my mentality was always automatic payment. Mm-hmm. Where, I have my electric bill. I don't really even look at the bill. I kind of know what I'm paying, and it comes out of my account. My T-Mobile bill, boom, comes out of my account. These like that. Well, all along my entire life, I've known that this amount of money was going to go, and it's never been. It was more about being clean, so that when I do decide to move on, right, or when I've been in relationships, there was never that whole conversation about, or that new woman never got that phone call. You know what? He ain't shit. He's over there taking care of you, and he ain't taking care. No, none of that. None of that. Somebody made a comment. That's assuming you have two adult-minded adults. So many try to get over. That's absolutely true. And
that's where I could see where the child support can come in handy. If there's any, basically it is to complete a disconnect. Because even with the automatic payment, in this day and age, you can set up an automatic payment to go to anybody regularly. Granted, I know your daughter's a little older, so that may not have been the case, 10 years ago, whatever. But now that to make it easy is not the reason. Like, it's typically because we can't communicate, we can't come to an agreement, and so now we have to bring somebody else into the equation, and sometimes that's okay. But sometimes that helps to keep it clean and neat. And now, we don't get along, so let's do this, because since we can't communicate nicely, like, like big people, now we got to do it this way. But again, I just think it is usually representative of some kind of breakdown in communication or in the relationship in general. It can come in handy. I've used it myself, so I'm not against it, but there are situations where I could see, well, you know what, he's doing what he has to do consistently. We came to an agreement that he would give me X amount of dollars, and he gives it to me every month, and he does pick up the kids, and he does da da da. In which case, is it necessary?
No, again, so it's so funny because I'm a proponent of child support, and I've never been on it. I've never been on it. This is a full disclaimer. I've never been on it. Me and her, we made an arrangement early, and it worked out beautifully. So I'm talking the extreme, but I'm living a beautiful life. It's very different.
Right.
My mother never had a complaint, always fantastic. Early on, it was very, strange or whatever. And then it came a point where it's become beautiful. So I don't want to put that energy out there.
Right.
But back to points we were talking about with the new guy or relationship. Again, to me, it's a pissing contest. So what I always like to set boundaries, right? And let the woman know in advance. I like to do proactive shit. I don't like to be reactive. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to react after he's calling, after he's showing up out of the blue. That's not my style. It never has been. So off the rip, I like, if I'm going to be staying over and I'm repeat. See, okay, let me ask you a question better yet. The kids are asleep 8, 9 o'clock. Should you be getting a phone call at 10?
No, not in this day and age. You could text me, like, if it's something that important.
Right. So you just said it, outside of something important. So my thing is this, right? I like to put it out there like, hey, listen, I'm in your life now. We're serious. We've taken that step to be serious. Here's a couple of things that I need from you. Let's make this clean cut as far as that's concerned. Money. I don't need you on the phone yelling at him, because if he disrespects you, it's going to be a problem for me. All right, right off the rip. Number 2, let's limit the calls after 9 o'clock unless it's an emergency. All right, 9, maybe 10 o'clock, whatever we agree on. 9, 10 o'clock if it's an emergency. All right. I can't make you do that.
Why is it that you feel like the call should be limited after a certain time?
Because after a certain time, it goes back to that whole pissing contest. It goes back to that. I could cross that line because I'm that dude. And I could literally call you and text you whenever I feel like, because I'm that guy. And you may think, it's sugar-coated with, oh, but the kids, but it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Because he's literally being what Charlie Murphy calls a habitual line stepper. He's checking. Your women do it too. This is how women do it, right? Women, when they want to mark their territory, what they'll do is, let's say the kid's mother comes to drop him off for you that one time. They look at you, I'll go outside and go get him, right? Are they really going to get him because they're super stepmom? A lot of times they're going to get him because they're like, look, bitch, I'm here. Look at me. I got you, man. Not so much. Sometimes it's not that extreme. Sometimes it's more like, hey, look, this is the face you're going to have to see. That's my man. And pick up the kid. You know what I mean? So men and women do it. You know what I mean? And I find that men, they do it in terms of they kind of want to cross certain lines. Like you're alone and they kind of know you're, let's say, alone in bed with your man, and they want to be able to call you. They want to be able to text you. They want to be able to, and to me, it's like, okay, let's me and you, we come to an agreement. What time is good? 9, 10? Depending on what your schedule is. 9, 10? Okay, cool. After this time, can we limit that phone call? All right. And now, from now on, if it's that pressing, if it's an emergency, by all means, text, call. Hey, man, get to the point. But it's not about, I was thinking, maybe we should put her in ballet next year. I don't know. At 10 o'clock at night, really? You know what I mean? Come on. There's ulterior motives there. It's not super dead. It's not super dead. So those are a couple of things that I like. So, I kind of established boundaries there. Okay, dad likes to come over and cut his hair. Dad likes to come over, spend time with the kids. Cool. What's the schedule? Oh no, he can come over whenever. No. That's not happening. Because me and you are trying to establish a life together. We're establishing a union together, right? So you're telling me that our plans are now secondary to his schedule?
He decides,
I don't
right?
agree with that. I don't believe that. So, and I'll give you an extreme example. It's Saturday afternoon. We've agreed that we're all going to go to Great Adventure, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever. We're going to go to Great Adventure. We're getting ready. Bah, bah, bah. He pops in. Hey, oh, look, man, I bought you this new game. Come on, let's. And now all of a sudden, the kid doesn't want to leave. That's a video game. Oh, shit, Dad. And I'm sitting there like, I just bought these 2 season passes. Motherfucker, right? And, that's one of the, like I said, I like to deal in extreme cases. But that's just a simple example, as opposed to, yo, look, man, Saturdays, Sundays. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about limit how much he could spend time with his kid. What I'm saying is, give me a day in advance. Give her a day in advance. Because it's not really about me, to be honest with you. It stops being about me, and it stops being, to me, men look at it and they start to think she has no control. She has no control, and her lack of control is what makes me insecure, not the other guy. Especially if I could beat him. But no, for the most part, that's what makes you insecure. It's her lack of control. It's her lack of a control of her own life. You're looking at her like, dude, you let this guy run you however he wants. You know what I'm saying? And the truth is, we're territorial. As men, we're territorial. And if you're my woman, you're like, how are you letting some other guy? You don't even let me like run you. So something must be going on, and you start to feel insecure. You know what I mean? So I'm very big on boundaries. I'm very big on establishing them early and letting you know, hey, look, now it's your choice. If you want to keep moving in that direction and you want to whatever, cool, then maybe that's who you should be with. Maybe you should be with baby daddy. But these are my lines. These are my guidelines. This is my line of respect.
Is there an exception to those rules? What if it's like, listen, the phone call thing. He doesn't get off work till 7 p.m. And so, sometimes he got to call me later at night. Like, is there never an exception for you? Or
no, of course. But you said it. You see, through communication, you will come up and you will understand that there's, so even in that, so that means there's still a window. You know what I mean? He gets off at 7. It doesn't mean he's calling at 11:30. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean he's calling at 1 in the morning. You know what I mean? There's still a window of time now. So you let me know. Okay, cool. Because all right. So look, what's the window? What's acceptable between us? You know what I mean? The last thing I need is to be getting intimate with my girl and ring, 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 ring. Not that she's gonna answer because but ring, 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 and it's baby daddy talking about, yeah, I'm coming over Tuesday to cut his hair. Really? You need to call me now? You know what I'm saying? To tell me that? No, it don't work like that.
I think honestly that is more on the woman, not necessarily even because you can't control somebody else's actions. Because you can ask him not to call past 9 o'clock all you want, doesn't mean that he won't. But just with me, I would just want to answer the phone, or I just want to respond to the text message.
No, and that's
not just because he calls like, let me whatever it is, it can wait.
No, you hit it right on the head. You hit it on the head because that's where I say I'm looking at her like he has control over you. Take the control back. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm not setting rules. I'm not the one setting the boundaries. I'm asking you to set the rules and set the boundaries. I'm looking at you like, take control of your life. I don't want to be in a situation where you don't even have control over your own life, where you can't go out because he decided, or you can't whatever because he didn't give you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Now the next part of that is obviously, if you want to go back to the child support conversation, I've always looked at child support as extra. If I step into a situation, you have children, I accept your children as mine, and your child support is extra. You know what I'm saying? I've never been the type to be like, Oh, we're gonna rely on that. How come you're not? Oh my God, you need it. No, that's not why I'm asking you to be on it. I'm asking you to be on it to be clean, cut, limit the have contact in that sense. But mostly it's that'd be extra. That's just extra. Go spend that on your kids, have fun with them. If I'm here, it's between us. We're in this relationship together. We're moving forward. But whatever. With that said, a lot of women and a lot of men, what do you call it? They don't have that amicable relationship. I mean, I remember early on, and again, I got to reiterate the fact that I'm blessed now with a good working relationship. You know, I have a good, what I call working relationship. Have I ever really had a conversation with my ex-wife? No, not at all. Have we talked? Yeah, you're gonna pick up the girl. Okay, you can drop her up. Yes. You need to talk to her. She's kind of had a little attitude. Yes. Have we ever just sat and palled around? No. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I see, I saw a meme that said, what do you call it? The best thing a man can do is love his kid's mother. I was like, no, I don't agree with that. The best thing a man can do is respect his kid's mother.
Respect, yeah.
Respect her. Love her, that's optional. That's an adult situation. That's something that sometimes you have children with, you know.
Sometimes you don't live here anymore, eh?
Sometimes you don't love them anymore, you know, but you have to respect them. You know, you have to respect them. Unfortunately, you know, on both sides, people will use the child as a pawn, you know, to kind of manipulate the other. And my whole view on the situation is to avoid that. I never want the kids to be.
Too, what a lot of times, in order to avoid using children as pawns, in order to avoid arguments and disagreements, we create what I feel is a disconnect. Now, granted, does every situation have to be the same? Of course not. But I think ideally, we should be friends. You know, what discourages me so much just in general in life is that with relationships, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, baby mama, baby daddy, husband and wife, so often when it's over, it goes like you go from like at one point being in love with this person enough to want to spend your life with them, to create life with them, to now I hate your punk guts and I hope that you die. Like that is not, that's not cool. And that's not a cool place to be in. And so I would like to see more parents, instead of just co-parenting, because it's fine. I'm glad that you and your daughter's mother are able to get to a space that you can communicate amicably. But like, why can't you guys be friends? Why can't you talk to each other about stuff outside of your daughter? You know what I'm saying? Like you had something at some point that went left, unfortunately. But like, why does that make us enemies all of a sudden? Because that's what I find in so many relationships. And it could be people that were together for 2 years, people that get together for 22 years. And it's the same thing. In the end, it's fuck you, pay me, that's it. You know, and so I just think, again, the child support and all the other little rules and regulations, it creates a disconnect.
Well, okay, so that leads to my next that leads to my next theory. My next theory is, well, it's not a theory. I've read this. I've seen this a million times. The opposite of love is not hate. It's a difference. So one of my red flags is when I meet a woman and baby daddy's still in the picture and she badmouths him, or she talks shit, or she snaps at him, or she's overly aggressive or overly angry at him, because that goes like this. She still loves him. Be careful. Or not necessarily still loves him, but there's still some feelings there. Because the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. Okay? So when women are done, I don't care if he's got a girl, whatever. I don't even care if he calls me. When they know, oh my God, and the attitude and the flip. Yeah, you was that?
Well, I was gonna say, like, what if she still speaks very highly of him? You know what? Like, I love him. I wish it could have worked out, but it didn't, but he's a great dad. And does that raise a red flag for you too?
Depends. I like to hear that. Because it talks to the honesty of our relationship. It speaks to the honesty of our relationship. It's like, yo, this is what it is, man. I'm hanging out. Look, yeah, he's dope, but I used to get a lot of that. He's dope, but he cheated on me like crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's oh man, we had a great time, but you know what I'm saying? There's always the but, right? And
Obviously.
you constantly, I respect that more than the him. Oh, he's a fucking drug dealer. He's a piece of shit. Oh my god, him, he got hoes and da da da. And you're like, oh, it all goes back to that shit. The meme that I saw, it says, if you go outside, if you argue with your lady or whatever, if you get home and your clothes is all over the front lawn and you got kicked out of the house,
you still got a chance. It's when it's neatly.
You got a chance. Exactly. And it's the same way emotionally. Emotionally, if she's still flipping bitter, angry, she's bitter about something. She's bitter about a promise that you made her that you didn't keep, whether it's for infidelity, whether it's the life that you promised her that you couldn't, you know what I'm saying? The dream she had for her family and you destroyed it. There's a reason why there's bitterness there, right? You gave your love away to somebody else. There's bitterness there, but it's not because she doesn't love you. It's because you did that and it hurt her, right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to we've all seen it. There's that ex-husband or that ex-wife. You see her and it's like, she could be naked dancing in front of you. You'd be like, yo, put your clothes on. What's wrong with you? Like, there's literally nothing there. You know what I'm saying? There's no interest there, And I think that's what I look for. I look to see that there's that cold, not that cold separation. I don't want to use the word cold, but there's that disconnect there. Like, okay, now you're just somebody that I used to know. You're a good person. You're cool, but you're over there. Like you'll see situations where all of a sudden your relationship starts to get strained when he has a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Why is my relationship being strained? Because he got a girlfriend. That's a red flag, my man. It's a red flag. Walk away because she still loves him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if she's constantly complaining about what he did and what he didn't do, and oh my God. I'm telling you, the women that I've come across that were done with their ex, were done, were like, I don't fucking care. Like, some of them were even with the child support, like, I don't even fucking want his money. That's how disconnected they were from the guy. Like, I don't want anything to do with him. He can see his kids and shit because I want to go out. But as far as him, you know what I mean? That's the extreme. But that's kind of in the gray area I'm looking for. Like, I need that disconnect to see it. If I see any type of passion, any type of like bitterness, energy in that direction, it's a red flag. It's a red flag, and I kind of want to avoid that. I have a question for you. Have you ever been with a guy that had baby mama drama and she aimed it at you or directed it at you? Like
I've been fortunate in that regard. Yeah, I tend to get with people that either don't have any kids or they're done. So I don't know what that feels like. So kind of like yourself, like I can't even speak from that side, but yeah.
It's cool. I got another question. I got to follow up. You're dating a guy.
Okay.
You're dating a guy. You guys are, let's say, 6 months in to a relationship. And every time he goes to spend time with his kid, he goes to baby mama's house and stays at baby mama's house for like an hour or two playing with the kids. Are you cool with that?
I dated a guy that would spend the night. He would spend the night. He would go because she lived in another town. So he would go, for holidays or for a long weekend, and he would spend the night. And I don't know. My perspective is a little different than most people. One thing that I've learned is whatever will be, will be. And so in relationships, what I've stopped trying to do is make the person be the way that I want them to be or prevent them from cheating or da-da-da-da. And so, yeah, it was a little weird for me. But I respected it, and even to this day, he and I don't date anymore, but we're good friends. And he swears that nothing ever happened. And I believe it. I could be a fool, but, I had no reason to believe otherwise. It wasn't like he'd be gone and I can't talk to him all weekend or, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that kind of situation. So, yeah, I've been that person. And I know if you asked 100 women the same question, they'd be like, hell to the nah. But
I'm not saying, I'm not trying to, but
again, with my concept of whatever will be, I can get mad and be like, hell no, you can't stay over there. And then he'll just go do it behind my back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're not really preventing anything. If anything, you're creating more of a disconnect between the two of you, or you're creating a wall where he's just not going to share shit with you. Because if he knows that I'm a trip over an hour or two, of course I'm a trip over overnight. You know what I'm saying? And then it just becomes, because
with my mom, you never asked questions. You never asked questions and said, why don't you bring them to your place? Or why don't you never like asked that follow-up, like, hey, how come you don't take them to a park?
Yeah,
like
conversations, because it was like, first of all, again, they live in a whole other city. So it wasn't just like, hey, let me drive 10 minutes up the street. We're talking a couple hours. That's one. Two, they live in a home versus his little apartment. So it's like, all right, I could bring them down here. Somebody sleeping on a couch. It's a very different dynamic. It has been done, but it's just like, it's easier for me to just go there, spend the holiday or the birthday or the whatever, and then I come back here. I respected it. I know 90% of women would not. I don't. Yeah, I'm different.
Let me tell you something. About 5 or 6 years ago, I would have loved to be in a relationship with you, because I would have been, maybe 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have loved to be in a relationship with you, because I would have been dogging my daughter's mother and been with you.
Here's the thing, though. Like, you can.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Like, I mean, it's real spit, because the reality of it is, I don't know really what we're down. Like I said, because we're friends today, and that's still the story, I do believe it, and I believe in. But you can create an environment in which, one, the communication is open. Two, you don't feel a way. I mean, granted, it don't take that long for shit to pop off, but there was communication all throughout the weekend. We're FaceTime, and it wasn't like a secret thing. I'm there, and I can only text you. So I felt comfortable. And again, I don't like to have like this whole ownership thing when it comes to relationships. Because what I've learned in relationships, and this is looking at my own behavior and other people's behavior, people are going to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You can have all the agreements and conversations and rules and boundaries that you want, but if they don't want to do something, or if they do want to do something, it's going to be done. And so what I've tried to stop doing is to dictate that, versus let's communicate. If that's what you want to do, then like, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll be okay with it, maybe I won't, but at least the door is open for us to communicate honestly, authentically. You know what I'm saying? Not even just like,
that's
you just
cool. That's cool. And I appreciate your point of view. I have strong boundaries. I lay them down. I put my feelings out there. If you disregard my feelings and you cross my boundaries, I walk away.
And that's that, right?
Yes.
My point is that you can tell all the boundaries that you want. That does not mean that the person is going to respect your boundaries.
Right. And so if they don't respect your boundaries, then that's a telltale sign that they don't respect you. So why be in that relationship?
Exactly.
So that's what I do. I'm like, I put them there. This is what it is. This is how it is. Okay, cool. Your choice. Sit back. They cross that boundary. Oh, okay, cool. Then I'm not. I don't mean what I thought I meant to you. You know what I mean? Cool. It's my door out. If I choose to stay, again, the line is erased, and now there's a new boundary. You know what I mean? But prior to that, it's whatever. So when I deal with people, yeah, you know what? Everybody has free will. They have the free will. They're going to do what they want to do, right? But it's my obligation for my own happiness, for my own sanity, right? To draw the line. And I put it out there. And a lot of it, sometimes I don't believe in testing people. So your boundaries have to be authentic. They have to be realistic. They have to be achieved. They have to be serious. They have to be hard. They can't be, oh, I don't want you ever talking to that bitch.
You're right.
Not realistic.
Not realistic, right.
Right. As opposed to, hey, listen, man, this is what, now, don't get me wrong. If I'm not around and you talk to him after 10 o'clock, essentially what I'm telling you is don't disrespect me. You know what I mean? So if you talk to him after 10, it's like, all right, you spoke to him. But now I'm looking at you, sorry, if I find out I'm looking at you, so I'm like, okay, sweetheart, so the only reason you're doing it is because it's disrespectful to me. You're not doing it because you're trying to get control of your own life. You see? Red flag. Red flag, because then you're not serious about moving forward with me. You're not serious about what my feelings are or how I see a situation. You know what I mean? And again, it's not about control. It's never about control of me controlling her. It's about me witnessing that she has control over her own life. The last thing a man wants to do is walk into a situation where he's third or fourth on the list. For a while, I could be second to your children. And once your kids are grown, maybe I've earned the second spot, the first spot. You know what I'm saying? While they're out of the house, married or whatever, maybe I could earn that first spot. But I'll be damned if I'm third. I'll be damned if I'm fourth behind your kid's father that he gets to make plans. Or better yet, how about this one? A lot of times when they have the privilege of coming in and out just like that, you know what else they have the privilege of doing? Canceling. Oh, I can't make it. So my whole control thing is, let's establish the full range of control. Let's control A, which is when he comes in and out, when he comes in, but B, when we make plans and he has to pick them up. Because if you give him that free range, now the schedule is all over the place. So he can literally be like, well, I was there Tuesday. Now I can't be there Saturday. So now we got to bring up our tickets on Broadway because Saturday he can't make it.
Right.
Or now we can't have our date night because we haven't seen each other in 5 days because we've been working because he can't pick up the kids. No, I need you to set a schedule for pickup and for visits so that we can plan our lives. All right. So the whole thing is you take control of your situation so that control translates into how I can see where I fit into your life and how I can see how we could organize our situation. If we do that, a lot of, that's actually, it's actually a very clean way to keep it moving. Now, just to give you the follow-up to this question, I wanted to touch on that part first. The follow-up to the question was that it was messy as hell. This question was messy as hell, man. The other day, so he was in jail. He was in prison.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
He was in prison. So in her mind, a lot of it is him making up time, trying to make up time with her son. Okay.
Right.
A bit more background. Father went to prison before son was born. Dad was released from prison 16 months ago. When son was 15, son is a homebody. Dad lives in a busiest crime metro area. So already she's adding all these buffers to kind of explain why it's okay, why she feels like it's okay, and why her new man is wrong. So she's trying to preempt that answer. But here's the one with it. Yeah, beef with me when I first met my man. Okay, so already when they first met, the baby daddy was giving her a hard time because he wanted her back. Now here's where it gets really messy. I can't lie. At a time when my man and I were in a bad place, when dad first got out, I secretly entertained some thoughts. And I admitted we flirted a little. Drop the mic, it's over. See, that's one of the situations that I always was very weary about. Relationships have highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
You go from in love to just love. Wow. The in love is what in my book I call the Matrix. That's when you make all the right moves. You and your girl are in lovey-dovey. The sex is great. Oh, it's perfect, right? And then you fall just into love, right? Where you can't really make the right moves. She's bickering, she's mad, you're angry, stressed. All those things live in that love, but you still care about each other. You're still together. You're working on your union. It's just not that high. It's the down. In the down, when you have a man that has been that close to you in your life, that knows you as intimately as anybody, as your kid's father, spend some time with him, assuming he starts to get in that ear. He knows what to say. He knows how to approach you. He knows how to press those buttons, especially those emotional buttons. Can there be some vulnerability there? You know what I'm saying? Does it?
Case that could be the same case with her work husband, or it's a guy that she meets in Publix that's really fly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like we get so caught up in what we see in front of us, and trying to control that we lose sight of the fact that we really don't have control over any of it. And I think that's how I approach my life that way. Like, you plan, but that saying, you plan and God laughs. You plan, you do what makes sense for now. But I've also, like, you keep referencing memes. There's a meme that I saw. There's something about, like, let people do what they want to do so that you can see, basically how they really wanted to move anyway. Like, okay, like, talk to the nigga then, like, if that's what you want to do. And if you're mad at me, if that's where you go, then I see where your head is at. I see the type of person that I'm dealing with, and I have to decide then, like you said, if that is a deal breaker for me or not.
You're assuming you see it. You're assuming you see it.
Well, that's my point too. My point too. Like, you can't control anything really, like, because sometimes you'll see it, sometimes you won't. The reality of it is, when it's not right, you'll know. I think.
And it goes back to the point I was making. That's why I need to see indifference, because if I see any type of, like, whatever, it's like, oh, there's still a window there, man. And I know that, like, I'm sure, just even in the way the girl was asking the question, that she was still interacting with the act. You know what I mean? There was still a lot of, whether it was her bitching and moaning about him, talking about him, there was still something there that the guy saw, that the guy sees. You know what I mean? Now, the other part of the question is, he's asking all this before it's official. In other words, she has to do this before it's official. And my point of view, I'm like, yo, cement your spot first, bro. You got to cement your space.
See, but that's where I disagree with you, because my thing is this: like, what I don't think is fair is to come into somebody's life and expect that now, because you're there, they have to make all these grand adjustments. Like, bitch, if you're gonna stop talking to him, stop talking to him before there's a man in your life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Create those boundaries now. And I think we had this conversation when we were talking about the kids sleeping in the bed, and there's certain things. I'm not in a committed relationship, but I create those boundaries now, because if that's what I'm looking for, like, he could come in and it's going to be easy. We don't have to have a conversation. Doesn't need to be no cement in your space in my life. It just is what it is, because I have created a space for somebody to fit in there. And so I think that should be the telltale if somebody's serious about it. Because if you got to do all this talking and convincing, like, again, she's just doing it to appease you. It ain't really what she wants. And I don't think so you're solid in the relationship, because when does that happen? I mean, is that at 6 months? Is that at a year? So you're just going to deal with all the fuckery up until then, and then suddenly flip the script like, nah, now we got to, no. If you don't like it, say something from the jump. Honestly, like, if I'm dating a guy and he has an issue with it, I would rather know that from day one, day two. So at least I can know, okay, this is his personality. If I'm going to move forward with him, this is what he's going to expect. Not, oh, I've fallen in love with you. Now you want to create boundaries. Now something that I've been doing for a year was okay. Now it's an issue. Nah, like, let me know that up front so I can decide, you know what? Fuck you. I love my baby. I'm going to talk to him every day. Or, you know what? You're right. I need to do better. And I can work on that.
But I also think a lot of times, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times women don't really, well, maybe they do. And I didn't think this. They don't really see it that way while it's happening. While they're like, so while there's not a man in their life, it's like, well, there's nobody here. You can come through. But go ahead. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Come by. Ain't nobody coming here anyway. Whatever. But then when they get a man and he starts to come through, they're like, whoa, bro. Chill. Now they're realizing, oh shit, well, now I can't do both. It's like that freedom that you have when you're single
versus in a relationship,
as opposed to when you're in a relationship. So there are things that you have to compromise that do change. You know what I mean? Initially,
I feel like it should be a natural thing, and it should be just like you said before. It should be her initiating it.
And that's what it's all about.
It should be like, yo, listen, I know yesterday was all good, but today I got a girl, and she, she doesn't really appreciate you coming up in here now that she's living here, whatever. Like, it shouldn't be me saying, I need you to da-da-da-da-da, and I need you to do this, and I need you to do that, because then it's not genuine. It's just him appeasing me, and then how long does that last?
Somebody wrote a comment. It's simple. If the other guy's coming around unannounced, bothers your partner, if he's worth it, you respect and make the adjustments for your partner.
I agree, period. But don't tell me that was okay, but don't tell me that it's a problem a year later. You know what I'm saying? We've been together for a year and it's been fine. Tell me that up front. And again, personally, I would prefer that you make that adjustment. Like if I'm at my man's house and he knows that the kids got to get dropped off, like make those arrangements beforehand. Don't have her coming up in here while I'm here. Like you should have the cognizance to be like, yeah, like that's not a good look. Let me make this right. As a woman, I would do that. If I know I'm having my man over, if he's living with me now, I would have that conversation before my man has to come to me and have the conversation.
Here's the thing, right? So like there's the courting phase, right? Where you don't know how serious it's going to get. You don't know where it's going. And yeah, in a proactive world, you would take that step forward and kind of deal with it in advance. Like I do with the kid in the bed or the kid at the table. Yeah, you're right. But there's also things that it's almost like you don't want to hit the gas. It's almost like you need confirmation that you're headed in the right direction with this person, right? Before this, it's like there's certain things that you do, like with the baby daddy or the baby mama. It's like I know, and I'm not speaking for myself, but I've talked to enough guys where I know a lot of guys that their kid's mother is awesome until they start dating. And when they start dating, all of a sudden, yo, she becomes a fucking pain in the ass.
Oh, right? You want a girlfriend? Yeah. I'll show you.
What, you can't pick her up, you get to be happy and all that, the whole range of shit. And here's the deal. So I know a lot of guys that they hold off on addressing anything that has to do with her until they're absolutely sure that this chick is going to last or going to be, past the test of time. Right. And I'm sure women do the same thing. They're like, do I want to deal with my kid's father drama right now with a guy that I'm just dating? Or should I wait until, okay, yo, you know what? This guy's looking like it's going to get serious. And that could be 1 month, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. And then all of a sudden now you're like, okay, yo, we're going to move on to something serious now. Now I got to deal with it. So now 4 months have passed, you know what I mean, of dealing with this guy. You know what I mean? So it doesn't all happen right away. You don't have that thing in your mind where you're like, you meet somebody, and you're like, we're going to be serious. Let me deal with this right now. You know what I mean? And in that gap of time was where a lot of this drama.
But the way I look at it is whether we're going to be serious or not. If I'm at your house today and there is a situation that occurs that makes me uncomfortable, whether I'm your homie, your lover, your friend, your girl, your wife, whatever, I'm going to address it. So if I'm at your house and your baby mother comes through and maybe she's acting away or da-da-da, does she always act like this? You just let her come in here all the time is what you do? Like, I would try to understand. And I'm not going to say, hey, you have to do this or you have to do that. But This is how you're giving it up every day. Okay, cool. And I might even suggest that, you know what, you might want to check that, even if it's not for me, for future situations, because that's not going to end well for you no matter what. That's just me. But what I wouldn't appreciate being on the other foot is somebody tolerating, and suddenly explaining to me that it's an issue, because now I feel like now we got two issues. We got the issue at hand, and then we got, why the fuck did you not say something before? So
why is there lack of communication? No, you hit it on the head when you just said that. You're like, you don't have the title, you don't really have the position to or the clout to make the comment, right? And baby mom showing up, walking in the house. She rings the bell. Oh my God, look, I bought you some milk and some stuff. I know the kids are gonna be here this weekend. Walks right in the house, opens the refrigerator, starts putting stuff in the fridge, closes it. I'll talk to y'all later, bye, and walks out. Very innocent. It's about the children. It seems cool, right? You're dating him. How does that make you feel? You're looking at him like, am I in the fucking Twilight Zone? Did I just see what I did?
Again, me being the person that I am, depending on her attitude and her vibe towards me, like, all right, hey sis, you need help unpacking the groceries?
This is where we're different. This is where we're different. Because if a man did that, I'm like, this is a pissing contest. Because what you said is, I'm gonna go to your corner, or I'm gonna go to your doggy bed, and I'm gonna piss on your doggy bed. I'm gonna walk over to it. I'm the alpha dog here.
I agree, but the reality of it is, and from the beginning of this conversation, everything that you've pointed out as an issue is all about your ego. It's all ego. You know what I'm saying? It's all, again, it's a pissing contest. And so am I going to have a pissing contest with somebody where I may or may not win? Or do I just hold my space and let it be what it is? Like,
no. That's the thing I'm trying to say. I'm going to win. If I don't win, I'm not staying. I'm not here. That's what I'm saying. So I look at you and I say, get control of your life. because I refuse to have this pissing contest. I'm not doing this.
Contest. It's still a pissing contest because what you're doing is because the only way that you can compete in this pissing contest is he comes over, you say stop that shit. So that's you peeing a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? That's your version. That's how you peeing. That's how you're giving it up. But it's still the same thing.
Absolutely.
It's still
no, I don't disagree.
How I feel about it. I don't like it. You're stepping on my toes. You're making, basically it all comes down to you're making me feel less than. And I personally don't like to allow outside factors to make me feel less than anything. Now you can make me uncomfortable, in which case I will have the, like I said, for me, it would be addressed to day one. I don't care if this is our second date. I'm going to ask you, like, does she do this all the time? Okay. And you think that's okay? Like, if you got into a serious relationship, would you still allow her to move like that? And if you say, yeah, cool, like now I know what I'm dealing with, you know, and I decide at that point, if I don't believe in like telling people how to move. People know how to fuck to move. Like if it's not something then I'm good.
I go back to the point I made earlier. It is a pissing, part of it is a pissing contest, but part of it is also, I want to see if you have control over your own life. Because if you don't have control over your own life, then there's no way you can successfully move into a relationship.
Absolutely.
And be moving forward if you don't even have control of that.
Part of me having control of my life is me creating the boundaries without my new man having to suggest it or tell me that this is what.
Again, sometimes he has to point it out and be like, do you realize that this is wrong? Because sometimes people don't realize it.
People don't. Yeah, and that's what community.
They're like I said, it's like, I don't have a man. So if somebody, it's like for me, all this time I've been single, right? My entire, like for the last X amount of years, I've been single. So when women would not, I'm passing by at 10 and they were friends or 1 o'clock in the morning, they're buddies or friends, whatever. And, we're going to go to IHOP at 2 o'clock in the morning. Cool, let's go, right? It was never a big deal. The day I got into a relationship, I said, all right, well, we can still hang out, but 1 o'clock in the morning is no longer like, let's keep it.
But you said
reasonable, right? But
like,
why did I do that?
1 o'clock. You knew better. Like people ain't stupid. We're not stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that because of my mentality. But check this out, right? What if what do you call it? I got this friend I go to IHOP with her all the time. Right? I used to go to IHOP with her all the time. And it was a therapy session between us. She would be going through shit, I going through shit. No attraction, nothing going on between each other. But we would just talk, right? And what do you call it? There came a point where my current girlfriend was like, yeah, maybe she needs to look for another therapist. And she wasn't saying don't talk to her, whatever. But she was like, in other words, she understood what communication means to women. Right? And she understood that when that girl was vulnerable and she kept like in her mind, it was almost like this relationship adjacent type thing. Right? So my girl didn't tell me to stop talking to her or stop hanging with her. She kind of said, she just put my awareness on it. Right? And once my awareness was put on it, I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. You know, there's a lot of sharing going on in my direction. Not the girl coming to me, but from my direction. A lot of sharing, a lot of vulnerability going in that direction. And that shouldn't happen. That should be reserved for the person that I love. That should be going towards you. You're right. You know what I mean? Before that, I thought of it as nothing. It was like, what? I could easily take the stance of, I've been going with her. Shut up. I'm going to keep. But I had to put my awareness on it and say, wow, I never looked at it that way. You're right. You know what? You're right. Cool. So sometimes you kind of have to point out to people, hey, look, this kind of rubs me the wrong way. But again, you can't make anybody do anything, but you could kind of put it there like, hey, look, check this out. What do you think? And have them. And again, if they respect you and they value you, they're going to take what you're saying and act on it. You know what I mean? And they're going to show you what they mean.
Not necessarily. I think it's also, you have to look at it from both sides of the table too. Now, I don't know, again, where this IHOP girl came from, how long you've been friends, but then it becomes a question like, now, do I have to change my entire life dynamic or what I've been doing because you're here now? Like, I have to cut off friends that have vaginas just because you're here? You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me would be kind of like, ugh. That's me, though.
You're taking the extreme. You're taking the extreme. She never said cut anybody off. All she did was put my awareness on how the interaction was taking place. And I think that a lot of times we can't deal in extremes. We have to kind of deal with what people are saying. Let's understand them. And remember, relationship compromise. We're not talking about dating, messing around. We're talking about a legit, firm relationship where there's a future. We have to compromise. You know what I mean? And I got to take each other's feelings into account. But without further ado, what do you call it? We're running up on an hour now. We're trying to limit it there. That was fast. It was an easy hour always with you. I appreciate it. We talked before, and I was telling you how, my book is done. It's in editing. It's in editing now. I'm super excited. It's crazy how this has happened and how it's moving so fast. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I want everybody to know that it'll be out. It'll be on Amazon. It'll be on different platforms to purchase. And, there'll be some good. Not only that, but I'm going to be working with 103.5 The Beat. I can't really make that announcement yet completely, but it'll be after Valentine's Day. I have to be out after Valentine's Day. It was an opportunity granted to me because of my Drop and Dimes page and because of the questions in the inbox. And I'm super grateful about it. And I'm hoping it's a step in the right direction or a step in the door. Who knows? Maybe a career. We will see. I'm going to try to make the best out of it. But anything you got going on? Anything you want to?
Congratulations. No, I'm over here working, hustling, how I do behind the scenes. I know you're always encouraging me to do a podcast, but for now, I'm comfortable just jumping on yours. But maybe soon.
You got it. All right. With that being said, guys, thank you for your time. Appreciate the comments. Put a like, a share. Let us know. Give us some feedback on what you saw here today. If you like it, you love it, we appreciate you. Thank you. And we are out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are out of here.